Hey everybody, how's it going? Today's Tuesday. I believe Alan's back in his home state of Michigan. Because he's
Michigan,
yeah,
U of M,
yeah,
Lions.
yeah. Both the Lions and the Packers had a rough day Sunday.
Pete, they say the Packers lost to the worst team in football.
Yes, I know.
I don't even know who they played. That was the heading I saw. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
So they played the Denver Broncos, and just as a side note, so a guy named Quinn Meinert's on the Denver Broncos. I don't know if he's the right starting guard or the left, but he's a starter. Actually went to both. Well, he went to my college, UW Whitewater, and he also went to Hartford High School, which is where we live. So he's kind of a local boy that kind of made it big in the NFL. Um, but yeah, I don't know if 500's in the cards for the Packers anymore.
Oh,
I
you
heard
don't even think they're going to be a 500 team this year?
I don't know. I'd be happy at 7-9. Um, because people are saying 6-8. So it's yeah, it'll be interesting. Um, so let me share my screen because I got a couple of things. And I so last Friday I did this Facebook Live thing. Now the problem is I can't do it from my desktop. I have to do it on my phone because it doesn't like Safari. Um, and when I'm on my phone, I was trying to show my screen, but then I got kicked off of Facebook Live. But it was kind of a good brain dump, but kind of a good like, this is what I'm working on. This is what I want to do. Um, so maybe I'll continue to do that. And if Alan's not busy Friday afternoon at the close, or maybe it was like a half hour before the close. Um, I can pull people on like on video. But I'd like if you want to be on video, just I think just chat with me or just because you can chat on this Facebook Live. I'm still trying to figure out this Facebook Live thing. Um, but I think
What
you
are you
can
doing? A training session, Brian?
yeah, kind of. Or more just like what I saw in the market this past week, what I'm trading, that sort of thing. Um, just a half an hour, just open session kind of thing. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm still figuring out Facebook Live, like a live event or whatever, or like just a 30-minute chat session for the group. Um, so let me share a couple things. First of all, Daniel Gomez and his Millionaire Mind Boot Camp. And today, our leader, Alan Ass, was featured as I'm attending. Um, I'm trying my hardest to get down there as well. It's the weekend before Thanksgiving. Um, it's quite the event. I have a feeling there are going to be a lot more people there. Alan and I went to the inaugural one, the very first one that Daniel Gomez put up last
And then
year.
I went to the second one,
Yeah. So this is
and
actually
then the
his third one.
third one.
Um, so if
Now,
you can make it, I highly recommend it. Um, and if nothing else, you get a chance to hang out with Alan and I. Um, let's see, what else did I want to talk about? So someone asked how actually let's talk about RTX first because I got in long and actually Alan was in overnight long, got the gap up and sold near the open. Um, when I saw this, and we basically opened around 80, well, 78, well, 79, sold off down to 77.32. When I saw us bounce here, which is at 77, I said, okay, these were just people taking profit. These were the longs that are now taking profit and it's going to bounce. And I posted in Facebook, I got in at 840, which was the start of this candle. And I said, as long as this holds 77, which is right here, that's gonna be my stop. I saw the 3 candles and then I started trailing and I got out with 60%. So it was a very quick trade. I probably posted it to Facebook a little late, but that's the problem with trying to share trades is that, this lasted 10 minutes. And for me to either write in Facebook or to post screenshots in Facebook, that usually takes a little bit of time. And eventually I need to get all of this. So I have 2 screens. I have my Mac Mini, which is newer, and I have my very old 2017 iMac, which I need to get everything off of that and onto the Mac Mini. But people ask, how do you trade? And this is basically how I trade. I trade with the 5-minute app. And I even said, I've been watching The Spy, which had a pretty choppy day. So we started off long and we didn't trigger until 9:25, which is 10:25 Eastern. We sat here and chopped around. The problem is trying to force the trade and getting in here, and then it reverses on you. Or you think, okay, this is going to stay above the 5-minute high, and it doesn't. Wait until this candle is completely above, and then there's your stop. That's how you, whoops, let's go back. Back out. So like I said, we had quite a choppy day, and it's evident based on how many triggers and closing triggers there were on this thing. This one, 11:20, has triggered short. So get into this one, write it down to 420. So like I said, I use this religiously. It's how it guides, well, religiously in quotes, because I didn't use it for the RTX trade. That was one trade I just said. And I'm trying to think why I started watching it in the first place. Maybe because it was just up so much. That's what got me into watching it. I knew it was one of our regulars. I knew in the prior week or 2 weeks, we've been trying to go long defense. So, and I think, as talking to Alan, remember way back when, if we look at, and let me switch back, here's RTX, and I already talked about the 5-minute. So here's RTX on the 3-month daily, and here's that gap up. We've been holding this kind of steady, and remember, this was their last earnings call. And I don't know if you recall, they had one of their airplane engine makers, something wrong with that, and that's what dropped the stock. And even though, it continued to drop here, we were kind of under the impression or the belief that that's wrong, that RTX should be up in the 80s, maybe even maybe up to 90 kind of thing. So we've been waiting for this kind of gap up for quite a while, since the beginning of September, the middle of September. Alan posted 2 trades this afternoon. Oxy. And if you look at Oxy,
Yeah, posted 3.
3? I got 2. I got Oxy and I got AXP, which I was in.
AXP, one, I think it was 149 calls, right?
I think 150, at least. Let's see here.
It might have been the 150 calls.
So,
Probably the 150 calls.
yeah,
And then, the other one was the Oxy 66 calls.
yeah, because we're
And
quite,
then
so this is a 3-month daily for Oxy. And the 20-day SMA is sitting up here at 63.77. So we're quite extended down. So, and with the issues in the Middle East, you would think that oil would be um, higher. And then your last one?
the last one was I'm trying to think right now. It was let me see if I see it on my notepad. Um, eh, let's see. Oh, RTX 80 calls.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that was earlier. RTX.
Now, just so how people know how I do things, I look at, like RTX, the 80 calls, it only has to travel $2.
Yep.
Which all you gotta do is have a war start, overnight, and that thing's gonna go up $5. So
Well,
it costs me $200, and if it runs to 83, I'm gonna go ahead and make whatever, 3,000 on it. So I would have loved to held the 76 calls. I mean, because obviously if it ran to 82, oh my God, I'd probably make like $60,000.
right.
Um, and probably that was the way to go. But I've kind of learned the lesson that, you know, what you saw with RTX is that you take the profit because you don't know how much profit taking is going to take place. You played it, but I wouldn't have done that. I would have thought that was too risky.
Yeah.
Um, it worked out well for you at that 60% return, but I'm looking at it, that RTX was like $80.60 in pre-market. So I was already thinking I had a $20,000 trade on my hand. Didn't work out that way,
Hmm.
but it could tomorrow.
Right. Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
I try to, if it helps anybody out there, I try to, if I'm in profit, take profits and don't worry about it. You never want to take a win and turn it into a loss. It's like going to a casino. You put $100 in the machine, you run it up to 500. You're like, oh, this is a hot machine. You
Mhm.
keep playing and you go from $500 down to zero. And
Right.
you're like, what just happened? Same concept in options is that if you're in a win, you can't let it turn into a loss. That's just the way it goes. Um, I didn't
Yeah.
want to go ahead and sell. If it kept going, I had the on the trigger. But strangely enough, I had the high of the day. I mean, there's nobody that got a higher amount for the option than me that I'm aware of.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
Uh, I, I I nailed it. But I've been to the other way. So I try to go ahead and obviously I was trying to go ahead and go with the just trying to go and see what it's going to give you. Um, but you got to look at it. It went from $81 down to what whatever you bought it at. What did you buy it at, Brian?
Just over 77, like 77.20-ish.
Yeah. So the issue is that what is that, a $4-5 drop there?
Right.
So it's kind of like you got to go with the trend. The trend was down; it wasn't up. So that's why I sold. If the trend was the other way, I would have kept it. I wouldn't have sold. I mean, because I think with the war and the buyback, I think they did a $10 million buyback or 10 billion or whatever it was. That stock could have easily gone 85, but they decided it was too overextended and they got rid of it. Do you see what Visa did after hours now, Brian?
So Visa is actually down. Well, Visa went from up like 4 or 5% down,
It's
now it's
six
down a
percent.
quarter.
It's like $4 or 5.
Right,
Yeah, it's
exactly.
down a quarter.
Yeah, 1/4%. Um, holding
And then
230.
now, what's AXP after hours?
EXP up a quarter.
Now, see, the reason that a lot of times, if you guys follow me for a long time, I used to play the earnings a lot, and then I found you're always better off going short than long. I don't know why it works out that way, but it does. Um, and but in this case here, um, the options were so expensive for Visa, it's almost impossible to win. AXP, the options were cheap. I mean, you could have got in on the 149, 150s, for like $5, $6, $7, $8. It's crazy how cheap it was.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and if Visa pops tomorrow, it's going to take AXP with it.
Yes, yes, and that's what I'm expecting. I'm looking for a $6 move on American Express tomorrow. I
Yeah, which
mean,
would put those
what you
150s in the money.
what I learned in my experience doing this is that I look at more what the opportunities are than anything else. I mean, Visa, the trade was to go ahead and buy it before it opened today, or when it triggered the 5-minute rule, and then and then sold it before the earnings announcement.
Yeah.
That
And
that that was your trade. Same thing with MasterCard. Same thing. That was the trade. Um, so yeah, I mean that was the way to go if you could.
yeah, and I was going to look at Visa today. Um,
Yeah, look at that 5-minute right there.
right, yeah. Up a percent today. So, yeah. Yeah. So I'm in the AXP trade with you. Um, and like I said, I religiously use the 5-minute app and like I said, I've been kind of concentrating on the SPY, but I have Cliffs on my list, Google's on my list, which those options were expensive because they had earnings after the bell, and I think they're down. Um, Microsoft is up, Google's down. MU's on my list, but we haven't traded that one in a while. Oxy, SPY, X, and XOM. Those are the 8, 7 that I just track on the 5-minute app. So yeah, I don't know if that's it. Visa's interesting because it's consumer related. If they start talking about the consumers slowing down spending, blah, 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 that's going to put fear in the market and the market's going to drop. Google versus Microsoft. Microsoft is ahead of Google in regards to AI. And AI requires a lot of computing power. And I think that's what Google's now doing. They're trying to catch up and they need to spend money on servers. They need to spend money on hardware. I wouldn't count Google out. It's just this is the first time they've not been a leader in their in the industry. So, um, I think anything else? It's a gorgeous day out here today. Um, so I need to go outside and cut the grass one last time before it drops back down to 40. Um, so I don't think anything else you want to leave on, Alan? What,
No, I'm good, Brian.
okay, what you doing Friday afternoon?
Right now, nothing that I'm aware of.
Okay, so maybe we'll try to do another Facebook Live thing just to get, um, have a great weekend kind of thing. Here's how the week looked. Um, that sort of thing. So, um, I don't really have anything else. Hope you guys are doing well. Reach out via IM. I always love chatting, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye,
All
everyone.
right. Let's see ya.